From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Issues of Faith.
Welcome to Issues of Faith. Glad you're with us. We are talking today about Scientology. We like to examine all different kinds of faith. Happy to have with us Pastor Brian Fesler from the Church of Scientology.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
You were here several years ago, back in 2009. Glad you're back. And what I want to do is just give a 101. Okay. I think people have lots of questions, and I think they're curious.
Sure.
But as far as the basics on Scientology, and you all have a location here in Nashville,
just
right?
Not too far down the street from here on 8th Avenue, right?
On 8th Avenue, there's a location there. What are the basics? The biggest questions people have, just basics.
Probably the best place to start would be the definition of Scientology. And of course, ology is the study of. And the first part, it sounds like science, but it comes from a Latin word scios, which means wisdom or knowledge. So basically, it's the study of wisdom, study of knowledge. We believe people are spiritual. We believe in God. We believe that the more you know about yourself spiritually, the closer you can come to God and closer you can come to understanding those ultimate truths.
So you believe in God. In the Bible, I mean, in the same way, is it a Christian God, or what? When you say you believe in God, in what way?
Well, I only know of one God, and that's just God, the allness of all. So some of our members, we're all denominational, so some of our members come to us from the Christian faith, and they would follow the Bible. Some members come from the Muslim tradition, and they would have the Quran. But God is God, and we don't really question that.
And so, do you have a service, a worship service, or how does that work?
We have services every Sunday. We have a Sunday service, 11 o'clock in the morning. Anybody's welcome. Usually it covers some kind of universal topic, raising children or ethics and morals or something. The minister will do readings, and that's our Sunday service. But we're really known for our services throughout the week, which consists of classes. Like right now, there are classes running, and regardless of when this show airs, there's classes running, 9 a.m. to 10 at night every day. And then we have spiritual counseling, which a person schedules, and they come down and they visit with a minister and learn about their own spiritual side.
How many people attend the one here in Nashville?
If I could get everybody in a room all at the same time, which I think is every pastor's goal, I'd probably have 600 to 800 Scientologists in this, Middle Tennessee. We serve people from Memphis to Kingsport and all points in between, but we probably have 600 or 800 Scientologists that we call ours in this area.
And how long have you been here in Nashville?
We've actually been in Nashville since 1985. We started just a small study group back then. Turned into a small city office, they called it, and then evolved into a much larger church. We opened, a big significant point for us was 2009 when we moved into the old Fall School building on 8th Avenue. So we've been here 30 plus years, almost 35 years, I guess.
And what's the hierarchy? Is there another, like, how autonomous, I guess, is each location?
Right. Every Church of Scientology is its own independent, autonomous organization. We all have our ecclesiastical ties to the mother church, and we get guidance and direction from the mother church in that way, but we're all individual churches.
And where is the mother church? Where is that? Is that Los
Angeles?
Where is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Los Angeles.
And all right, so how does that work? I guess there's a service. Let's go there. What does a church service look like? If somebody goes on a Sunday, how long is it? What does a church service look like?
Well, if you just walked in and you couldn't hear anything, it would probably look like a Protestant church. We have the ministers in the front of the room, and there's chairs lined up, and people are just listening to. He'll give a prayer. He'll do some readings. Sometimes have some discussion. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of like I grew up with, except we had pews as a child, and now I have chairs. So.
And what's your background?
I grew up Catholic.
Grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
And can I ask, what made you decide to go to Scientology?
Sure. I actually I'd kind of moved away from church for a time and wasn't looking for a church or a religion. I saw a TV commercial for Dianetics, was actually the first thing. and I read Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard, who's the founder of Scientology. I was interested in the mind, how people think, you know, how can I better my potential, how can I help other people around me? And then from reading Dianetics, it was great, and I wanted more by the same author. You know, you read a book, you like it, that's what happens. So I found other works of his, found that he wrote all these books about Scientology. What's that? Let's find out. And the more I looked into it, it's just, I agree with that. That makes sense. I agree. Well, that makes sense to me, and over time it just became clear that that was something I was interested in.
How is it different than Catholicism? I mean, how is it different than, you know, the church that many people may go to? What would be the big difference?
I would say, well, I can tell you my perspective. And when I grew up in the Catholic Church, I asked a lot of questions, and I didn't always get answers that suited me. I would get answers like, because the Bible says so, or because, you know, because the priest told us to, or and that was my experience, and I didn't like that. I wasn't settled, which is why I thought I was not a religious person, and so forth. In Scientology, it's about looking for yourself and finding for yourself. So we offer the materials that L. Ron Hubbard wrote. They give you tools for life, you know, how to communicate better, how to get along with people better. And you study that, and you are then afforded an opportunity to try it in your own life, and you find out for yourself that this is something workable, and you can get some results with it. I liked the practical nature of it, the results attitude, the put it to use attitude.
It is about bettering yourself. Now, there's been criticism that's out there.
Sure.
And if somebody were going to walk through your doors, they would probably ask a question about that. You know, the criticisms about it can be too close-knit or cultish even. What do you say about that?
I think people should just come and look, and they just need to look for themselves. I used to hear that a lot more when I was first involved in the 90s. That was kind of the buzzword, and you know, from time to time there's a new buzzword about Scientology, but really it doesn't really matter so much. The criticism doesn't matter, even the applause doesn't matter. What matters is when you come in, are you able to get something out of it that's going to help you in your life? And we just encourage people to look for themselves. Maybe they don't stay, that's fine. People come and look and go all the time, but it's just not a big issue for us. They come in, they look, they like it, they stay. If it's not for them, they move on.
When I drive by, I see it says something, a personality test,
yeah.
Right? So what is that about?
That is something, it's very enlightening, and a person can come to our church and take this test. They can actually do it online as well, that will tell you different personality traits. Are you happy or depressed, calm or nervous, good communication, very withdrawn. Lays out these 10 different traits, and you get to see where you're at. If you're honest with your test, you get pretty accurate results. And so we use it for different things, just so a person can see where they're at, but also before and after. So if you take the test and it says that you're very withdrawn,